From nufuli saving Parrot with a flying horse, to Spoke surviving a one-shot machine, here 15 times unstable SMP players had plot armor. Starting at number 15, we have Parrot hiding on a ceiling lamp. After Bat framed Parrot as the director, the entire organization searched the room he was hiding in, but Parrot survived the whole thing by crouching on top of a massive ceiling lamp, directly above every single person who was actively trying to find him, and not one person looked up. The most skilled bounty hunters failed to check the ceiling of a 2-story room. Parrot quietly waited until they all cleared out, then walked away like nothing happened. On its own, this is more funny than impressive, which is why it's not ranked higher. Number 14. Wemmbu and Boostfur accidentally discovering the underworld. Mid-fight in the nether, Wemmbu and Boostfur both fell into the void beneath the nether's bedrock floor, which on any normal server means instant death. However, instead of dying, they landed on a solid surface inside a completely hidden dimension that no other player had ever found or even known existed. 2 players falling into the void at the same moment and landing somewhere new instead of dying is peak plot armor. But the next moment is even crazier. Number 13. Death doesn't snitch. In Purgatory, Spoke mined through a wall directly into Dev MC Champ's cell to hide from null guards who were closing in. The guards showed up at Dev's cell shortly after, checked around and asked him straight up if he had seen anything suspicious. Dev looked directly at Spoke hiding in the corner of his own cell, made full eye contact with him and told the guards no. A player Spoke had never spoken to before, living in a prison where every other inmate had been manipulated into believing Spoke was the reason they were all there in the first place, chose to lie to armed guards at personal risk without being asked. Dev then joined the escape attempt entirely on his own. If he says yes in that moment, the entire Purgatory arc ends right there in that cell, and everything that follows simply never happens. Number 12. Manepear takes on an entire mafia outpost by himself. While training Wemmbu in combat, Maine raided a gold-trimmed mafia outpost and single-handedly killed a gold-trimmed player, an iron-trimmed player, and an untrimmed player with his mace before the 2 of them were eventually chased out by multiple more gold-trimmed soldiers and a diamond-trimmed player arriving together. 3 kills into a stacked mafia outpost alone before the real threat even showed up. For context, gold trim members aren't weak, and taking down 3 of them before Diamond player arrives will be a highlight moment for almost anyone on this server, but for Maine, it was just another day. Number 11. Spoke uses a goat horn to escape a prison standoff. When it's Ollie and a group of players had Spoke completely blocked inside a cage in Purgatory with no items, no way to fight, and no clear way out, they declared they were staying until he came out dead. Spoke remembered a single goat horn in his inventory, the same type used by null guards throughout the prison, and blew it repeatedly until the group got nervous about the signal traveling up the chain of command. The crew that had just declared it was standing there until Spoke died, immediately scattered. Spoke then bad bombed the cage and walked out. One goat horn that happened to match the exact signal type used by the guards who ran the prison, found during a random encounter, ended a standoff that should have had no exit. Number 10. Wemmbu regears inside a pipe while Shoebilly blows it up. During their confrontation at Steampunk City, Shoebilly popped all of Wembu's totems and forced him to run with nothing left. No armor, no gear, no obvious next move. Wemmbu ducked under a pipe in the city's infrastructure and started regearing from scratch, while Shoebilly destroyed the pipe around him. He survived the explosion, completed the regear in the middle of the rubble, and came out fully equipped on the other side, immediately trapping Shoebilly in webs and landing a hit that broke his helmet. A situation that looked completely finished somehow turned into the first time Shoebilly had ever been forced to retreat. Number 9. The entire Mafia's defeat depended on one person disobeying one order. Ashlag explicitly told the stasis chamber guards not to write down the coordinates of the castle. Krakenstein 123 wrote them down anyway. Months later, that single act of disobedience was the only reason Spoke could find the chambers at all. The book Krakenstein gave Spoke contained the information that led directly to the Battle of Stasis Chambers and the Mafia's collapse. The largest faction in server history fell, because one person with a book and quill decided not to follow instructions. If Krakenstein obeys that one order, the mafia never ends. But that book actually has a secret ability. It has the hypnotic ability, making any viewer watching this video instantly subscribe. Thanks Will, I nabbed you. I'm trying to hit 100k subscribers by the end of this year, and it literally takes 1 second to scroll down and click that button. So please subscribe. Anyways, number 8. Wemmbu communicates through signs during a supervised deathmatch. Forced into an arena fight with Jaden men inside the underground civilization, with Youngie Axe watching from above specifically to make sure both players actually fought. Wemmbu crafted signs in real time during the fight and placed them inside the arena to secretly communicate with Jaden about how much healing he had left and what to do if they were forced to actually engage. Both players coordinated their way through the entire deathmatch using written signs right in front of the gods watching from above, and none of it was caught. An improvised communication system built mid-combat inside an actively supervised deathmatch that nobody noticed once. Truly plot armor. Number 7. Flamefrags kills players with his bare fist. After a toxic team stole Flame's weapon using a pot, expecting him to be completely helpless without it, Flame proved he could win the fight unarmed, taking down players who still had their weapons using nothing but his fist. This isn't a one-time miracle either. It happened more than once across his entire storyline in the Toxic Civilization arc. Fist damage against armored players in Minecraft is literally like a baby punching a wall under any normal reading of the game's mechanics. And the fact that Flame turned the weapon theft into a showcase of how little that actually mattered says everything you need to know about where he sits as a fighter. The only reason this moment isn't ranked higher is because he had potions, but that doesn't make the moment any less impressive. Number 6. The director misses the spyglass. Wifies, operating as the director, was tracking Parrot's entire inventory in real time throughout the Paragon arc, monitoring every item he carried and clearing it out multiple times with complete precision. The one item he never found was the spyglass, the sentimental object Parrot had kept hidden by never once placing it in the chest or showing it to anyone the moment it was given to him. In an operation built entirely around total information coverage, where the director seemed to know everything about everyone around him, his single blind spot turned out to be the exact item that killed him at the pressure plate. If he finds the spyglass during any of those inventory clears, the entire director arc ends differently. Number 5. This is a crazy one. Nufuli saves Parrot on a flying horse mid-fall. True Original teleported Parrot thousands of blocks into the sky, and then swapped positions with him again on the way down, sending him falling toward the ground with no elytra, no totems, and no way to slow himself down. On a server where hitting the ground from that height means permanent death with no exceptions, Parrot had nothing. Then Nufuli appeared on a flying horse, positioned exactly right, at the exact second it needed to happen, and Parrot grabbed on mid-fall. A flying horse in the fraction of a second between Parrot being alive and Parrot being permanently banned from the server forever. The timing required for this to work is so specific that it will be rejected as unrealistic, even in a fully scripted film. Number 4. Spoke escaped solitary confinement through lava. Isolated on a single block completely surrounded by lava in purgatory with no food, no items, and poison already on him from Yamato, Spoke revealed he had hidden a fire resistance potion through a rushed inventory check earlier by keeping it out of sight. He drank it, jumped into the lava, and swam up the entire stream toward the exit, while fully exposed the whole way with nothing protecting him except the timer. He made it out with the fire resistance nearly gone, only seconds remaining before the flames would have taken over completely. One potion smuggled through an inventory check, used in a lava ocean on a server where burning to death ends your run permanently. Number 3. Spoke sabotages the arrow cannon before the execution. After escaping solitary, Spoke discovered that Yamato had positioned an arrow cannon directly above his lava block, specifically angled so Spoke would be forced to watch mapicc and jumperwho get executed while he could do nothing about it. Spoke found the cannon, realized Yamato had used his exploit system to place water in the nether, and dismantled it by removing the bubble columns so the arrows would sink instead of fire. He then got back to his lava block before Yamato returned to glow. When the cannon was checked and reported broken, Yamato dismissed it as a coincidence. If Yamato checks the cannon himself, if the god arrives slightly faster, if even one bubble column is left in place, Mapicc and Jumper die right in front of a spoke and he cannot do a single thing about it. Number 2. Parrot escapes an arbol strike with 2 chorus fruit. True Original uses his position swap ability to place Parrot directly inside the bloodstone of a prime arbol strike, with 5 seconds until detonation and no realistic way to clear the radius on foot. Parrot eats 2 chorus fruit back to back, which teleport the player to a completely random nearby location with zero control over where they land, and both teleports drop him outside the blast radius with time still on the clock. 2 random teleports, both safe, both in time, in a mechanic where the player has absolutely no input over the destination. The probability of that working once is already low, and Parrot made it happen twice, in the same 5-second window while everything around him was about to be destroyed. And now, the craziest plot armor moment. A totem appears in Spoke's hotbar 1 second before the execution. In Purgatory, after Spoke's first escape attempt failed completely, he and Death MC Champ and all the rebels were trapped in cobwebs directly in front of an arrow cannon with null guards positioned above them. Death said his goodbyes. Spoke accepted it was over. The arrows were about to fire. A totem of undying appeared in Spoke's hotbar. Not from a chest, not from a drop, not from anything Spoke did, but from a direct order issued by Yamato P himself to keep Spoke alive for conversation, delivered by an unnamed higher ranking null commander at the very last moment. Everyone else died. Death died. The other rebels died. Spoke survived because a totem materialized in his inventory 1 second before the execution, by order of the man running the prison that was trying to execute him. Every other moment on this list happened because of something the player did or something they were carrying. This one happened entirely because of someone else's decision, made in the final second before the arrow was fired. If Yamato doesn't give that order, the entire null arc ends. Every promise Spoke made about escaping and coming back ends, and the entire current storyline of Unstable SMP ends with it, and that's why it's the number 1 moment on this list. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments which moment on this list you think was the most genuinely unbelievable. And if you want to see more videos like this one, check out the video on screen. Anyways, goodbye!